Hey, and welcome to another episode of Sports Card Investing Targets, where this week we're going to take a look at some wide receivers. Theory behind that is that most sports card collectors like to focus more on quarterbacks when they're targeting NFL cards. It's a good time to target NFL cards with all the focus being on basketball and baseball right now. So we're going to give you some options at that wide receiver position. And I like wide receivers because I believe there's going to be an influx of money coming into football cards once the season gets a little bit more hype, once we get closer to it. And some of that money is going to want to search for something other than quarterbacks. And I think the next best position is wide receivers. And I think that's where a lot of this money could find its way to. We're going to be looking at some data using market movers over at sportscardinvestor.com, where you can get 20% off your first payment on any subscription by using the promo code GRINDERS. So give our video a like and a subscribe to our YouTube channel, and let's get to the picks. As I mentioned, I think there's a big opportunity in wide receivers. They're just not getting the love that they deserve. You can see from some of the cards of some of the bigger players, some of the more hyped players going into this season, their cards just aren't on the same trajectory as you see with some of these quarterbacks or NBA cards. Wide receivers seem like a forgotten lot, and I think there is opportunity there because, like I said, the market for sports cards right now is hot, and eventually that money is going to trickle into other spots other than NBA and NFL quarterbacks, and I think these wide receivers have a lot of potential. The first guy I'm going to look at today is Kenny Galladay. Kenny Galladay is in a great spot this year. Matthew Stafford is back. He had a pretty huge first half of the season last year when Matthew Stafford was healthy. When Matthew Stafford got hurt and was out for the rest of the season, Kenny Galladay was just a little bit mediocre with the scrap heap of quarterbacks he had to work with. But I think this season, things are very promising as far as their passing game. They have an easier schedule. Kenny Galladay is a beast. He's going into his third or fourth year this year, and he's been improving each season. As you can see from this chart, we'll go over to Sports Card Investor and check out the chart on market movers. We're looking at the 2017 Prism Football Silver PSA 10 card. As you can see, it's been on an upward swing, but not as dramatic as we see with quarterbacks and the NBA cards that I mentioned earlier. I think there's some opportunity here for this PSA 10. It's only about $100. If I'm targeting these wide receivers, I'm also looking for those RPA cards. I love the RPA cards. They're scarce. That's what we want with sports cards. And they look nice. They're really nice. I'm talking about the National Treasures types cards. You can click on this link that I have over on the article to get to a eBay search so you can see some of these cards. We do get a commission when you click through our eBay links. It doesn't matter what card you buy. You don't have to buy what we're recommending. But if you click through our links to get to eBay and buy something, it helps us out with generating some revenue from these videos. Here's a bunch of those Kenny Galladay RPA cards. I really like how they look. I'm looking for probably a cheaper one. I wouldn't want to pay more than $100 for one of these cards, but if you can somehow get National Treasures Auto RPA with the Nike swoosh logo for a cheap price, I'd scoop those up. If you have a wide receiver that you have your eye on and you think has the potential to break out this season, and you can find those Nike swoosh RPA cards for a cheap price, I definitely recommend jumping on that. Trust your gut on these wide receivers. If you're right, then you could have a big payday from it. The next player I wanted to target is DJ Chark. I was a big fan of DJ Chark leading into last season. I was scooping him up every best ball game I was playing in the 18th round, and it paid off big time. I'm a little bit biased towards him, but I thought he was really had a huge breakout season last year, and I think he showed a lot of potential. Him and Gardner Minshew now have pretty much an entire season under their belt together, and you can get his Contenders Optic purple autograph card for under $30, which is a great price for a guy like DJ Chark, who has the potential to have another big season this year. We'll go over and take a look at his market movers chart. There's not a ton of volume on these cards, but you can look at this market movers data to get an idea of the general price range. I think this guy paid too much for it over here at around 40 bucks. I would try to get it more under $30 in this 20 to 25 dollar range maybe, but just under 30 bucks in general is what I would try to get this card for. You're looking for the raw card. There's other color variations of this card. You can see that they have an orange version of it. They have the purple version. They have a silver version of the card. So there's all sorts of options that you can get. The silver one, I think, is probably the cheapest one because that's probably got the biggest population, but I don't think it hurts to buy any of these optic auto cards. And they're on-card autographs too, which adds to the value of these contender optic auto cards. Next guy we're going to check out is Odell Beckham Jr. As we all know, he had a down season last year, which is a great opportunity for us to search for value with his cards. He was hurt all season. He had some pretty debilitating injuries last year that hurt him, and he had some really bad coaching. He had a bad team environment. Like half the team was screaming to the opposing sidelines that they wanted to join the other team. So it was just a really bad scene for the Browns last year. Baker Mayfield had a horrible year. He was in a offense that was designed poorly for his skill set. The hope is that this year with a new coaching staff, they'll cater more to Baker's strengths and the strengths of the team, and Odell Beckham should benefit from that. We all know the talent that Beckham has, and as you can see from this chart, his card hasn't been on that huge upward swing that we see in most cards these days. It's been a little bit down. There hasn't been a lot of volume on this card, but you get the idea what his 2014 Contenders Football rookie ticket auto PSA 10 card is doing right now. To get an OBJ for under 200 bucks for a PSA 10 autographed rookie card seems like a pretty good deal to me. I would target that card, and if you can find it, scoop it up under 200 bucks. Next guy that we're going to take a look at is Darius Slayton. Slayton is the latest New York Giants wide receiver to have a breakout season. Last year, he had a great season. He had 740 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns, including 3 multi-touchdown games. And most of that happened mid to late season. He started breaking out with Daniel Jones took over. He really gelled with him pretty well. Eli Manning had a multi-touchdown game with him as well when he came in against my Eagles, which I remember because he was in my captain spot in Showdown that night. But the card that we're targeting for Darius Slayton is his RPA National Treasures card. Looking at the out of 99 one, you can see it's a horizontal card. It'll have the rookie shield on it, and it'll have his autograph on there. For the sake of showing a chart, I'm going to show you a different out of 99 card for Darius Slayton. We're going to look at his horizontal RPA. That's also out of 99. This card is going for, looks like you can get a good price on it, under 40 bucks or so. Judging from this chart, there's been a couple times where people overpaid for it, but if you can see in this range here, you see a sale for $40, a sale for $32, a sale for $40, and another sale for $52. So anywhere under 40, under 50, if you can get this card in that range, it's a pretty sweet looking card, and it's a National Treasures rookie auto patch card. So I would definitely try to scoop that up if you can. The vertical one that we have in the article, I'd recommended buying that one under 20. I actually have that one myself. It's not as nice looking as the horizontal one, but it's a cheap RPA National Treasures card of a guy that I think can break out pretty well this season. So keep an eye on those cards and see if you can start finding some under 20. Next up is Deontay Johnson. If you've watched Sports Card Grinders or any of my videos in the past, you've probably heard me talking about Deontay. Very high on him. I think he's going to have a big season this year. He's got Ben Roethlisberger back. I'm not too concerned that those two haven't had a lot of playing time together because Deontay had a breakout season with 2 horrible quarterbacks last season. And if he could gel with them right off the bat, I'm sure a more accurate passer like Ben Roethlisberger, he can mesh with pretty well right off the bat. So I'm looking forward to seeing him get an entire season with Ben throwing the ball. We all know that Ben's old. His arm isn't as good as it used to be, but he's a hell of a lot better than what Deontay was working with last season. And Deontay had a nice rookie season last year. So I'm hoping for him to build on that. We'll check out the chart here on Deontay. As you can see, for the most part, you can get his 2019 Contenders Optic autograph card. That's a raw card for under 20 bucks. I've been scooping it up under 20 bucks whenever I can see it. I've got a few of them already. This dude paid way too much, 100 bucks. I don't know what that was about, but try not to do that. Target it under $20 if you can. I think getting into that $30 range is a little too pricey for me, but if you can get it for under 20, I think that's a nice target. As you've probably noticed lately, we started adding recommendations from past articles at the bottom of our articles to give you a nice list of players that you can click on to try to catch them in our target prices. These will take you directly to eBay searches for these cards. Just make sure it's the same card in the search. Sometimes when you do an eBay search, all sorts of different cards that you're not looking for will pop up on there. Just double check that you're buying the card that we have pictured when you're taking one of our recommendations. Also, just want to note that our sports card content can now be found on the menu bar under More Sports. We used to have our own little section in the menu bar, but now with MLB and NFL and NBA, we are now located under More Sports. So you can find our sports card content by going to the RotoGrinders homepage, clicking on this More Sports, and just scrolling down and finding sports cards. That's it for this week. Just a reminder to sign up for SportsCardInvestor.com's Market Mover subscription. You get 20% off your first payment by using the promo code GRINDERS. Definitely want to get the Market Mover subscription. That's where you're going to get access to all these cool tools and data. And I recommend doing the annual. That way you'll get 20% off the entire year instead of 20% off just your first month. So that'll save you a ton of money there. And just make sure to give us a like if you like this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out on Tuesdays. Sports Card Grinders is the show. We should have Jeff Wilson, sports card investor himself, on our next episode. And it's always good when he's on there, get all sorts of good analysis and good demonstrations of sports cards, market movers tools. So check us out then. Check out our content over on RotoGrinders.com in the sports card section, and we'll see you next week.